Righto. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to go back and do the basics of network marketing for the new people who have joined our team. And there's a lot of you. So basically just keep it really simple for people, show everyone how simple this is. It's a very simple business. It's not easy. So learn the steps, the fundamentals, then it's going to be a whole lot easier. So our story as to why we do this and how we got here. I went to university for 4 years. I came out with a degree, got the job in the mines. I was making really good money, but it was probably the most unfulfilled and unhappy I'd ever been in my life. I was away from everything I loved, but I was chasing the money, because we were all told or made to believe that money makes you happy. So it was a pretty low point in my life, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know what else I could do, because when you make that sort of money and you have that lifestyle where you can go on break and fly around the world wherever you want, it's pretty disheartening to go back to a 9-to-5 job in the city on a quarter of the amount of the money. So I was sort of looking for other opportunities, and the whole time this was under my nose. Rory had introduced me to the program, and I'd mentioned it a few times, but I just never grasped the concept of network marketing or working online. And it wasn't until we went to Java on a surfing trip in Indonesia, and we spent our couple of weeks there. I was going back to the mines, and I said, Rory, what are you up to? And he said, well, I'm going to keep traveling. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, well, I've been on that isogenics network marketing thing that I've been trying to tell you about, and I'm doing it full time now. And I was like, what is going on here? So I sort of opened my eyes up a bit. I investigated it, and then Rory invited me to Celebration, and that's where we went. We really learned a lot about network marketing, what it all was. So we've sort of been doing it from then on. Me and Rach moved to Sydney, my girlfriend, and we now work really casually and do this as well. So it's an amazing opportunity if you want to create more lifestyle, if you just want to have a business, secondary source of income, whatever it is for you. But it's just an awesome opportunity. So I'll rip into this. Basically, we're going to go over the 6 basic skills of network marketing over the next few weeks. So one being how to find people. 2, how to find people and talk to them, like what to say to them. How to support your people, so 5-star service. And how to build belief in them. Also, how to invite people to events. Events are gold. They do so much work for you and save you so much time. So how to make the most out of that and get people there. And then personal growth. So your business will grow as much as you grow yourself. You'll attract those sorts of people. So tonight we're going to go over how to find people and how to talk to people, what to say to them and speak to them. So why find people? So enrolling is the lifeblood of our business. We all have a business center, and we need customers buying out of our business, and we need retention, and that's how it all works. So 80% of the people who come into your business will just be customers, and they'll just buy products. And the statistics say about 20% will go on to build the business or become product sharers. So, which is awesome. That's really cool to know that 80% of people just want our products. 1 in 10 people will say yes. So for every 100 people you talk to, about 10 people will turn around and say yes to you buying your products, joining your team. And what we've found over the years is that a lot of those people come back over the years. So like my cousin, for instance, Simone, she'll be on this call tomorrow. And she's you guys just and we're all born network marketers, and we all do it on a daily basis. We recommend restaurants, hairdressers, that sort of stuff for people to go to. And this business is very much that. We're just recommending a product, and we're born to connect. So it's a skill we all have. We just need to enhance it. So there's a little misconception as well about finding people, that you need to enroll thousands of people to be successful at this, but it's not the case at all. If you look at Kylie Donaldson, the #1 income earner in Australia and New Zealand, she's enrolled around 175 people, and her network has expanded to 70,000 people. Jackson Parr's enrolled about 400 people, and from memory, his network's around 40,000. And Rory, who's on the call tonight, I had a stab at yours, Rory. I think you've enrolled about 150 people, and you have around 30,000 in the team. So you don't have to be enrolling hundreds and hundreds of people to be successful at this if you do it right. So finding people. Who believes that they don't know enough people? Can I get a raise of hands? Who has ever had that thought when they started, like, I don't know enough people to do this? Anybody? No one. All right. Well, on average, supposedly, we all have around 250 people in our network. And that's a fair amount of people if you really think about who's around you. And out of those 250 people, then they'll have 250 people in their network. So straight away, you have around 62,000 people around about in your network. So that's a lot of people to talk to. Hang on. Oh, no. All right, I can't reach this. Sorry, guys. I can't see chat, guys. Sorry, this is playing up a little bit. So the first step is to create your 100 list. Now, 100 people might sound like a lot of people, but it's not. It's very easy to come up with a list. So you can go onto your Facebook and print out a list of your friends. I know I have around 3,500 people on my Facebook. I probably only know about 300 of them, but that's Facebook for you. So you have a lot of people there that you can start conversations with. Another good trick is to write out your wedding list. So you might not be getting married anytime soon, but you can still write out a list of who would come to your wedding. And I guarantee you, there would be 50 to 100 people on that list alone. And then another tip is to think about 10 influential people that you have in your life around you right now and write them down. People who are driven, people who are in business, people who are in health, people who inspire you, and write them down and have them there and write it down so you can have a conversation with them. And obviously just continually update this list. It never stops. I've got my book here. I've had this book for a couple of years now, and it's just full of names, broken down in states and countries. So, I can always go back and chat to them whenever I need to. Here we go. Just people. Can you see that? Everyone have a book? Who else has a book on here? Jem does. Joe. Nora. Cool. So the next step is to building your list and finding people is to go network on purpose. So who's in a sports club or some sort of day group? What about any network marketing courses or personal development courses? Like you got Toastmasters, landmark courses, real estate courses. I mean, you think about the people who are going to real estate courses, they're people who need another source of income and they're probably driven and want to be successful. So by taking yourself out of your day-to-day life and getting yourself in those sorts of environments, you're going to find new names and new people to network with and just keep growing that list. And a little hack that me and Rach were talking about before is when we fly, we sit separate because you're stuck next to someone for a few hours. So you're going to have a good opportunity to share what you do, why you do it, and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Actually, can I say we don't always sit separate. Sometimes we do, and it's cool. But Reiss always goes and talks to the hosties. So every single flight, I could be sleeping and wake up, and he could be gone somewhere, and he's out the back talking to the hosties. So he's always networking. So I think that's a really awesome little thing too. Is just go up and be like, hey, can I have a cup of tea or something, and just start a conversation with them. That's a really cool way to, one, get a free tea, and two, start a conversation.
Yeah, get fed and get to talk to people. So yeah, I mean, that's another, we've got quite a few contacts from doing that. So the other thing you can do is ask for referrals. So you might have someone who's not interested in doing what you do, but they'll have people who will be interested. So you can ask them, hey, do you have any friends who are driven, people who want a health change, people who want to lose weight, people who go to the gym, people who complain about energy? Who do you know who would be interested in something like this. Now, I did this with my brother recently, and I've enrolled 2 people, and I have another 2 to enroll in just the last couple of weeks. So it really does work. These people I don't know, but just off the top of his head, he goes, yeah, this person's been complaining about their health. This person's got a gut issue. This person is in the army, needs some extra fitness, that sort of stuff. And it's also an indirect way of asking someone to take a look at your opportunity. So I've done this recently about 3 times now with some people from the UK. I've approached them, some people I know, and said, hey, my business has just launched in the UK. Can you have a look at my business and tell me if you know anyone over there who'd be interested in doing this? Can you link me up with some people? And then twice they've come back and said, man, I want to look at this. So we're now having that conversation and working on that now. So that's another way to build your list and find people, is to ask for referrals. Another point I want to bring up, and this is a bit hard when you first start out, because when you start out, you're sort of desperate to have people buy your product and come into your business. But as you start to build this, you will learn that not to be desperate and to really be selective with who you bring into your business. What type of person they are, what they're going to bring to your community, what they're going to add to your culture. Do they lift you up or do they pull you down? And to give you a bit of an example, when I was first introduced to my first event, was in Brisbane at Celebration. Me and Rachel arrived the Friday night. We went straight to a party, and there was like 20 people there Rory had invited. And everyone was like, it was just all good-looking people, all young, all full of life, energy, and we just had the best night. And I remember that from day one, thinking, you know, this is my tribe. I could really get around this a lot more. And it was something that brought me back to network marketing and brought me back to the events. Did anyone else go to any of those events and have a really good time? And just thought, like, what like-minded people, how cool is this, you know? Yeah, it's, and then if you went to Celebration this year, you will have seen we created quite a few events after the training where we could all go out and mingle. And it was really good fun. So, skill number 2, talking to people that you find. So what do you say? People, this is Simon Sinek's thing, and if you want to YouTube search it, it's awesome to watch. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So the best way to share why you do something is to share your story. So share with them why you do it, not what you do. So why you do Isogenics, not what Isogenics is or how to build an Isogenics business. It's just the why. Because that'll be way more impactful and more inspiring to them. So we're going to do a bit of an action at the end of this, and I'll take you through it just quickly, but we're going to practice how to share your story. We have a really cool template for that. It's called your 30-second story. And basically you can write several different stories, but if you can just have a quick story off the top of your mind that's going to relate to someone, then you're going to be able to connect with people really easily. And here it is here, actually. So this is a 30-second story, and you just go in there and fill out whatever happened for you. So whatever, it's not putting words in your mouth. It's just a template where you can write down your ideas and keep your story to really quick. So give you an example. So before Isogenics, what was going on for you? You were introduced by who? You've been using the products for how long, which is really important, because if you've been using it for a week, it's going to be less impactful than if you've been using it for 4 years. As a result, what happened for you? And then now, what do you believe? What do you feel? Like, what do you want to do with it now? So I'll give you an example of my one. And just know, you can, if you Google Isogenics 30-second story, this template will come up, and then just practice it yourself. Get in contact with your upline or one of your friends and just practice it with them. So my story is, before Isogenics, I was eating really clean. I was exercising. I was taking supplements, but I was continuously fatigued. I was getting run down and sick all the time, and I knew my body wasn't getting what it needed. I was introduced by a good mate, Rory, and I've been using the products for 3.5, 4 years now. And as a result, I have way more consistent energy. I never feel run down, and I feel the fittest and most agile I have ever. And now, I can see that. I can't see the bottom of my story. You get the point anyway. It's a big black line over it. But anyway, so now I'm really inspired to help other people on their journey. So that's my story, and I can go to that any time, and that really relates to people who are quite lean, people who are really looking after their health, and then learn other people's stories. So Rachel's story is going to be different from my story. So I know Rachel's story off the top of my head. You know, she was suffering from energy, she was bloated a lot, and because of isogenics now, she's the healthiest, fittest version of herself. So I can share Rachel's story, and I can try and connect those two people. So as a professional network marketer, to be a good one is to be someone who can build relationships fast. So being able to connect with people really quickly, and I wanted to share one thing that we've learned from the training is an acronym called FORM. So when you sit down with someone and having a conversation, and it's a little bit intentional, maybe you want to get to know them quickly and start a good conversation with them, or maybe you just don't want it to be awkward. You know, you don't want to sit next to someone and have that awkward, silent conversation. You can use this acronym and have it in the back of your mind. So FORM stands for finding things in common. So family, talking about the family, you know, you can relate, siblings, kids, whatever. Occupation, that's a great conversation people love to talk about. Recreation, what do you do for a sport, for fun? And then motivation, so what inspires you, what motivates you, you know, that's a really good one to get started on. Yeah, anything? Sure. Sorry, guys. Should get rid of that. Can't see the screen. So for new people starting, this is something I've been working on a lot lately with my new people, is what do they do when they start? You know, they've had a great experience on this program, or maybe they want to enroll a few people, but they just don't know what to say to people. You know, when they do try to talk to people about it, they get objections and they don't know how to answer it. So the best thing you can do, and this is something that even professional network marketers practice a lot, is to not act like you know everything. Don't have all the answers. Be a professional handballer and get that person on the phone to someone else who relates. One, because they're going to relate to that person more, their story, and two, it's a third-party validation. So it's not just you and your mate talking about, you know, how good this program is. It's, you know, you're introducing a third party and they're going to share their story, and it's just there's three of you now talking about it. It's way more impactful, and this is something we're trained on a lot. I remember Jackson Parr doing a big piece on this, and he showed his graph of his pay and his business, and when he introduced three-way messages or introducing a third party, that his business took off to another level. So if you're new and you don't know what to say, then really get in the habit of just saying, hey, I don't know, but I know someone who can help you with this, and handballing them off to someone else. So setting up a three-way call, going on a coffee date with that person, whatever that might be. So I'll just go into three-way calls, because it's easy for us to say, yeah, just get someone on a three-way call, but it can be quite awkward. And even the word three-way call, like that might sound weird to some people. So rule number one, you don't have to call it a three-way call. You can call it whatever you want, whatever your language is. Just a group call. I'll put you in a chat with my mate, whatever it is. So use the language so it doesn't freak you or the other person out. I know I had my cousin, I kept saying to her, she was talking to people and she was getting objections and that sort of stuff. And I kept saying, yeah, just put him in a chat with me, put him in a three-way call with me. And it wasn't happening. So I actually got Lovey a three-way call, Rob Love. I got him on the phone. I said, Lovey, can you talk to my cousin about how to get people on three-way calls and handball? So she did. And so from that experience, she, one, got used to and over the fear of a three-way call. And two, it was a third-party validation. So it was stuff I was sort of already saying to my cousin, but from someone else. And from that, Simone's got off the call way more confident in introducing someone to a three-way call. She can use her own language and she can own it. So one of the things that Rob Love mentioned to Simone in regards to setting up a three-way call is having posture and certainty behind organising a three-way call. So if you were to say to someone, hey, just, to a friend of yours, hey, would you want to jump on the call with my friend, have a chat? that person's probably going to go, oh, no, not really, I'm okay. It's going to be a little bit daunting, a little bit overwhelming. They're probably going to avoid it. So to come in with posture and certainty and say, hey, I want you to have the best possible experience with Isogenics. So I've organised a call with you and say, Rob, does 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. What works best for you, 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. today? And they can say to you, hey, yeah, 4 p.m. is cool. It's happened, it's organised. There's nothing weird about it. You're not giving them the choice to choose if they want to get on the call. So I thought that was really cool. Has anyone got any experiences themselves with getting people on three-way calls that they want to add? No one. Very silent bunch tonight. Laura, hang on, Laura. Lucky I got my assistant here. Oh, here we go. Laura's going to speak. Cool. Just unmute yourself there, Laura.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. Yeah, another thing we do is we chat with them in the messenger. We get our people to just set up a messenger chat, and then we chat to the person on the behalf. And what we tell our people to do is just say, "Oh, look, I don't really know much about this, but I can put us in a chat with my friend Laura, who's been using the products. She can answer all of our questions." And just that our questions part seems to make it a little bit more easier for them. And then when we chat, I just ask questions, and then as soon as they kind of start asking more questions about what's involved and stuff, then I just say, I'm busy at the moment, but I'd love to chat with you. What time suits you? And then they give us a time, and then we just ask for their number then. And yeah, but definitely getting them to set up a messenger chat first, and then us initiating the three-way call seems to be working quite well as well.
Okay, cool. So you get the three parties in one message.
Yeah.
The message on a phone call as quick as possible.
Yeah, and then just because Vivian and I have a little bit more posture now about calls than the other person does, so when we're suggesting a call, it seems it's having a better success rate. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
That's in the language too, so that's really cool. That.
Thank you. All right. Wicked. Thanks for sharing.
Just lost my video.
All right. So now the next step is when you talk to people, it's about following up. So the fortune's in the follow-up. Most people take about 6 to 12 exposures before they say yes. So even if you think back to how many times, for the people on this call who are doing Isogenics, how many times did that person speak to you before you enrolled? And I remember Rory sent me the enrollment form like on repeat on my email because I said, yeah, I'll do it, but then I didn't fill out the form, So it's hard sometimes where people need that repeated reminder or exposure, but it's happened to all of us. It's not weird. So yeah, it takes. So knowing that, what's the word? Help me out here. My assistant. Yeah. So just understand that. So put them in the list and note. So that's it. So by having them in your list of people to follow up, next to that you can write how many times you've spoken to them, what information you've sent them, and you can really look back on how many exposures they've had to Isogenics. So like in mine, it might have, I've sent them about the products, I've sent them about the prices, I'll follow them up 2 more times, and they'll have a note say, yep, they're ready to start next month. So it's a good way to keep track of where people are at. Another idea is to add them to the cleanse support page. So they're going to be in our page where they can see what's going on behind the scenes. They can see people's successes and the information that's up there, and they can see there's a real community and real support there. That's another form of follow-up and exposure. And thirdly, when you do have a chat with someone, send them some information. Always ask for permission to follow them up. So say if you've sent them a really cool tool, you say, hey, when do you think you can watch that tool by? And they'll be like, yeah, I'll watch it, it's a Friday, I'll watch it by Monday. Okay, cool, I'll call you on Monday. Is that cool? And they're like, yeah, no worries. So then you've got permission to follow them up. So that's another. All right, so action tasks. This is action-based training. So for this week, if you haven't done it yet, or even if you have done it, go back and redo it because you can always get better at it, is to write a new list, update it at least, and also practice your 30-second story. So go Google Isagenix 30-second story and print it out and practice it. And for anyone in your team, also get them to do it because it's such an amazing tool. And at your next launch party, they can get up and present it. And thirdly, if you have never done a 3-way call, my call to action this week is for you to organise one. If it's something that scares you, then organise one with your upline and a friend, or maybe some people within Isagenix, and just understand how it works. And you'll realise it's kind of cool. And next time, give it a week, and you'll be calling your mum and your brother at the same time because it's fun. So, 3 tasks this week: rewrite your list, update it, go over your 30-second story, or do it for the first time, and then either practice the 3-way call or set one up. So that's it for tonight, guys. Hope it wasn't death by PowerPoint. Does anyone else want to share something that they have in regards to finding people or talking to people that you find? I know you got something, Gemma.
What was the question?
What do you need to add to finding people or talking to the people that you find? Found most of your success in enrolling people?
I think another good little tip is, like, if you post something on social media, is click on the likes and see who actually likes it. And then another thing you can do is message that person and say, hey, I just noticed you liked my thing. What did you like about it? Or was that something that resonated with you? Or where are you at? And just kind of start a conversation with those people. Don't obviously do a free post because people are going to stop liking stuff. But yeah, just create or just be mindful of who is actually watching, and reach out to those people and just start a conversation, really.
Yeah, and I've done that myself actually. I remember saying to Callista Shaw one time, whenever I put it before and after up, I don't really get any messages from it. And she said, oh, have you ever messaged the people who liked it? And I thought, no, I've never done it. So I did it, and I actually had a few enrollments out of it where people didn't have the courage to say, hey, what is this? Or they maybe didn't know I even had something to offer. And I've messaged them and said, hey, thanks for the love on my post. Reach out if you want to do a program like this. And they're like, yeah, cool. And I've had a few enrollments from that. So awesome tip, Gem.
Can I just add something on that? Gem, I know that you're really big on Instagram, and you've enrolled quite a few people from Instagram as well. And it's another amazing tool aside from Facebook for finding people, especially new people. Because it's very easy to have your list of 100 and keep contacting them, but we always want to be finding new people, as that's the lifeblood of our business. So a big tip for me is the Instagram polls. I know Gemma and I have kind of been experimenting with them. I don't know if anyone else is using them, but whether you ask whatever question it is, people will give you feedback like, oh, do you like this outfit? Yes or no? And it's generally people you don't even know yet. So a good thing is to go, and if they say, do you want to join my business? And they say yes, then you click on them and say, oh, hey, thanks for the the like what do you want to know, or it's just an easy way to start a conversation. Even if they say no, like it's a good way to just be like, oh, thanks for the feedback, you know. So that's a cool tip for finding new people as well.
So when you do a poll, you can actually click to see who likes yes and no?
Yeah. So if you haven't done that before, guys, I challenge you to try that. If you do have Instagram, it's a really good way to connect with new people.
Yeah, so you can post a before and after photo and say, who wants results like this? Yes, no. And the people that hit yes, they're all open to getting a change. So.
And then add them to your list.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else? Come on. I can see you.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say something, but Matt is also on the phone with my mom.
Is er niet want in principe.
Write it in the text box.
Yeah, write it in. We'll read it out. Now, Tully.
Hey, Rach.
Yeah.
I had a question. You gave the example before about sending that message to your UK kind of contacts about had some great results with that. When you say, oh, hey, when you're asking for the referral and say, do you know of anyone that would be interested in my new business? And they're like, oh, yeah, what's it about? What tool are you sending to kind of show them what it's all about?
I did two things. I sent like a flyer. Remember the Anna Richard flyer we had? I sent that to them and said, look, if they're interested in healthy think, then send them this. And I wrote them a little paragraph of what it is. Hey, we've run this program from Australia. It's just come to the UK. It's super successful. You know, and I'll get them to add us in a 3-way chat and we can just start the conversation that way. But most of the time it's been me reaching out to my UK friends that are here in Australia, sitting down with them. They kind of already know what I'm doing. And it's just a matter of them going, okay, cool, I'll help you. Yeah, I've got a friend who owns a gym. I've got such and such who's a trainer. My cousins would love a health program like this. So it's been kind of fortunate for me where they've had a bit of an idea of what I'm doing already. So, yeah, I can't really answer your question too much other than that I sent that sort of flyer template to them to share with them.
No, that's super, super helpful. Thank you. That's perfect.
Cool. Mr. Hoey, welcome. Cool. So if there's no one else, what's it? Okay, here we go.
Also, another thing with overseas people, I guess I've been looking up all the events in all the different countries and then going to my friends list and going, for example, I was looking up one in Canada. So I went, my friends who live in Canada, and I went and contacted, majority of the friends, and just to see who was interested and I just said, hey, how you going? I created rapport, talked about their lives and whatnot. And then I said, oh, hey, there's this really cool event if you're interested in I kind of just slipped it in, like there's a sip and sample happening in your area. Would you be keen to go, or do you know anyone who would be keen to go? And then if they say yes, then I would send them the screenshot from Isagenix events of the information of where it was and what time it was. And then, so I have a girl going to an event in Canada next week, which is really cool. It's actually like a little bit of it's like a Zumba thing, and then it's a sip and sample. Like it's kind of random, but whatever, it's an exposure, right? So that's a really cool thing to do as well.
Cool. All right. Anyone else have any good tips while we're here? What about for the newbies who have started? How are you guys going with having conversations with people, and how you're handling their questions, and are you getting them in a 3-way chat with someone else? No one? Cool. All right, we'll wrap it up then, guys. Thanks heaps for jumping on. I hope that was handy to you guys. This is just the first of many, so we'll run another one next Monday night. So yeah, I mean, this is more for, I see a lot of familiar faces. This is more for the new crew, so really get your new crew on here.